I think a lot of us in our generation, we had to learn saying that I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be distant with people for no reason. I'm not gonna interact this way because it's not healthy. But our parents, a lot of people can testify. Like my parents never hugged me, my grandmother never kissed me or hugged me, but I know they love me.
But you don't know what you
right?
don't know, right? They don't know. Some of them don't know.
Is it they don't know, or it's hard for them to do?
Both. It could be both. It could be that it is hard for them to do because of certain experiences, because of certain things that they grew up in. Maybe even if they wanted to, but because it's like, well, my dad never did that, right? My
It's
mom
not a
never.
method of expression that has value to us.
Yeah, it's like I pay the
Hugging me,
bills.
hugging
I
me,
get you to
yeah.
school. You got food on the
Yeah,
table.
that's-
Don't you have new clothes? You know, that's literally how they express it.
But it's funny you say
Express
that.
it by
You
feeding you.
never.
Figuring it out.
We saying this because now we're dual cultured, I guess.
Yeah, by culture.
But growing up in a Haitian household, you never feel neglected on love because you never get hugged. You never feel like my self-esteem is low because mommy never told me that she loved me. You never doubt for a minute.
That you're not.
That you didn't have love.
Whereas you have the opposite culture, which is European culture, where they hug you 10 times a day, you still have a self-esteem that's telling you that I feel unloved.
Well, beautiful people, welcome back to Mind Your Wellness podcast. And I'm your host, Obel Pluvios, and we have with us again our beautiful host,
Patricia Desel.
Jesse Bell is there.
and we are in for another episode. Guys, this one's gonna hit home because, I mean, if you are of Haitian descent, you understand the concept of Lekòl Legliz, Lakay, which translated in English, literally church, home, school, and home. These are the places that you need to know.
School,
home,
church,
and church.
School, Lekòl Legliz, Lakay?
School, church, home.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're going to get a little bit into that concept and where did it come from, first of all, if anybody knows. Why is that something that was pushed in our community?
I have an idea.
And
I don't have the history.
Is it also
No.
has there been benefits to it, or has there also been things that are detrimental?
Downside.
Right.
I know I'm throwing all the questions at you.
Yeah, no.
But-
I have an idea. I mean, from how I experienced Lekòl Legliz Lakay was more of a protection, right? Because geluga unakatia. That's another thing. And I don't think it was a protection from like how you're gonna get into trouble with other people. But it was more so from the voisinam. Pa bopita voisinam, which was like I haven't given you permission to go play with the neighbors. I haven't given you permission to talk to these people, and I haven't given you permission to go to these people's houses. That's how I experienced it as when I was growing up.
From a superiority complex.
Exactly, there is that too. Because we know in Haiti there is a lot of like in a neighborhood you can find several different type of
It's a class.
demographics. Exactly. We don't have like a social class where in a specific zip code, a specific area, all of the rich people are there or things like that. You have rich people, and then next you have like the people who can't even take their children to school and things like that. You have everybody in the same neighborhood in some areas, right? So I experience it as a form of protection.
Okay.
Like if you're not in these three places, if you're not in church and school is over, the only place you need to be is in your house.
But it even goes deeper. Even in the church, you can they also tell you that you should not be befriending certain folks. Even the school, Bavo Lekòl pour faire amis, meaning that I don't send you to school to make friends. So I think what you're saying, you experience it from a superiority complex where almost that you're not going to talk to them, those kids here, these neighbors or whatever. Protective in a way as well, the way I understand it, is that you have to stay focused on your goals. And these are the places that can give you what is necessary for you to get to where you need to be in life.
Right.
I have to protect you from all the negative things that can happen outside of those structures.
Distractions.
That's the protective nature of it as well. Interestingly, I would say it is equivalent to the talk in African American circles. The talk in African American circles, for those who don't know, is that conversation that Black parents would have with their children, mostly Black boys, about the racial realities of the time, how to behave if you get pulled over by the police, put your hands on the wheel and all these things. Now, I've never had the talk because I'm not African American, and this is something that is prevalent within the circles. But what I did have is the notion of Lakay Lekòl Legliz. You play with your siblings; these are the people that I give to you as friends. When you go to school, your job is here to pay attention to the academics. You're not here to talk or have friends.
Right.
When you go to the church, your job is to nourish the soul, and then you come back home and the cycle continues.
Yeah.
Now your question is there downside and upside to it? What are some of the, in your opinion?
I think the downside to that is I grew up Kofwe.
What is
sheltered?
Sheltered.
I would say that sheltered. I can relate.
I think even after I came to the U.S., because I came when I was 16 and I didn't go back to high school, so I went straight to college. I feel like even though there are people who were kind of just expanding their horizon a little bit, I was very focused. Even when I didn't have the parent to say, "Oh, you'll come back home and do it." I mean, even though my dad still picked me up when I was in college. So when I finally had that freedom where it was just me, nobody's telling me where to go and to come back. I was still like, I'm here to learn. I'm not here to make friends.
Right.
I'm here to when I'm at the church, I can do this for you. I can do this. I can do this. And then I go home. So I had to learn how to network when I get to graduate school, when I had things that I wanted to do, when I started to, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't really want to go work at a place for the rest of my life. I want to do things I love. When I find out this is the path that I want to take, and I'm like, you can't sit here and be focused on your school and get the grades and get the achievement and stuff. Like, you can get the papers and all of these things. You need people to take you where you're going. You need to learn how to interact, communicate, and go to their stuff. So they can come to your things. Because when I realized I wanted to do things, I'm like, who's going to come to your stuff?
Right.
Because you don't make friends. And the friends that you have, they're family members. I'm like, how often you going to buy my things?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's so much in the family to go around too, as far as you got two customers. If you have two siblings, you have two customers, right? So I guess what you're saying is that the beneficial aspect is the focus that it leads you to heaven, but the downside is the lack of networking. That you don't know how to socialize and build relationships, which is instrumental in the life of a business person or in life period.
Yes.
Life is all about networking. It's who you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But even with the parents too. Because I think parents, even the older generation, they struggle when they come to the U.S.
Yeah.
And they struggle for the same reason. Because you will see everybody live in the same area. You have that's why you have Little Haiti. Even though that's changing. But you do have those areas where they're not interested in the language. They're not interested in how the system works. They want to bring Haiti to the community here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And we're just going to keep to ourselves and just be friends with each other because we know each other and your family. I can trust you. I'm not interested in knowing cultures, what they're eating over there. It kind of prevent
them from having an open mind, right? So they become closed-minded to what they just know. And so that stops them from seeing, like we're saying, different possibilities, right? Because it's not just you're not just restricted to those areas, home, church, and school. There are other possibilities that are outside of those constricted areas that can take you further in life, right? Because in their mentality, it's kind of like, that's what I know. I feel safe there, feel comfortable. So I'm just going to take it wherever I go because people like comfort. So the moment that they feel like they have to challenge themselves to grow outside of that, then it becomes a problem.
Right.
So,
but that type of upbringing creates a fear of others.
Yes.
Because all your life you are raised that way,
right?
And when you become an adult, you almost have that fear of allowing other people in your life or building a bridge with other people. And now you have to wonder why it is so difficult within us to create a business that 10, 15 of us millionaires get together, we create a business. Now, let me tell you, I love psychology because I think everything we do goes back to our psychology.
Yep.
So now you are fighting saying that, Haitians are having difficulties building things together or put money together to build a business. Well, you have someone, say that they're 30 now. All their upbringing as a child, you continue to tell them Lakay Lekòl Legliz. I don't allow you to open up to anyone. I have to protect you from them for whatever reason, whether because you're better than them, or they're not your krabe, or they're not your how do you say krabe and
they're not your people.
They're just not
tribe,
your people.
They're not your equal. Yeah. So,
equal. Yeah.
They're not your equal. For whatever reason. And then now all of a sudden they are 25, 30 that you're asking them to get together to create a corporation and put money together. That's not going to happen. So if you want to change that, you have to change the foundation. There was a fellow on one of our I think it was on one of the social media platform that asked about the what we are proposing, not that we respond to folks with their wisdom, but what we need to do is to invest in early childhood education.
Yes.
And that type of education is not necessarily teaching you how to read and write or how to teach you alphabet, but it's a type of education that is designed for you to understand that you need to learn to socialize and create bridges.
Exactly.
That way, when they're 25 and 30 become senators, they will work across the aisle with someone to pass laws that are beneficial to the betterment of the Haitian people.
Right.
Exactly.
So we continuously creating for years one thing, but when they become adults, we want them to be all of a sudden to be something different. So I think that's what needs to happen. But that concept, Lakay Legliz, I think we can even say that, is it doing more harm to us than it's doing good? I like the focusing.
We need to create our own version. I feel like our generation right now,
we need to spice it up a little bit.
We spice it up. I don't think the concept is wrong in itself, because we need those three things, right? But it's just how we move about those things. And I think even in church, you can create a community where you know how to network in that church environment. It doesn't have to be like you go to church just because you came to hear the word of God and that's it. You don't mingle with people. But if you do go to church, how do you treat people? What do you talk? Like, what are you building within that church community that is allowing you to grow in your mindset when you go outside of that church community, right? Because the church is not just about the building. We already know that. But like, how are you building something sustainable that can also go in the outside world?
I like that. Keep the concept, but
keep the concept.
We need to
expand
within
evolve.
School as well, right? How do you, some people study well by themselves, some people study well together. Figure out that method, what works for you. It's not about, you just go and get good grades. Maybe you're somebody that cannot pay attention, right? You have issues studying by yourself because for you to sit down and read a book, it takes you a couple of hours. But the moment you start talking to somebody and they start teaching you about the subject and you teaching them back.
I'm laughing.
Abraham Lincoln was like that.
When you're talking about doing tests and whatever, my son's kid is crazy. He came home. He told us. He said, "I have this kid that's looking at my paper when he's taking tests."
Huh.
And he said, "Guess what I did, Papa?" He said, "I did the test very fast. I put all wrong answers.
Oh my God.
And then I let him return his paper. Then I redo my
And then you
test."
read to your test.
Your
Oh my
son,
God,
we
don't
need
look at
to
my
meet your
stuff.
son.
Don't
That
look at
is,
my stuff.
oh my
It's
God.
like,
Oh
man, you
my
evil.
God.
That's evil.
It's
Oh
like, man, you
no.
evil. But I was laughing so
Oh
hard.
my
I was like,
God.
"That's genius."
Don't look at my stuff.
Don't look at my paper.
Don't
Do
look
not
at
cheat. That is
I said,
crazy.
He's
but
setting a standard.
Yeah. He said,
I
you're
said,
not
but
cheat. You're going to
man.
learn today.
You're gonna learn.
And then when he find out that he got the A and the other person who was cheating
That's what
didn't
I
get
asked him. I said, "But man, what are you gonna tell him when
Found out.
you got A
That's
and
not
he
his
got
business.
an
He don't
F?"
gotta
He
tell
said,
him
"That's
anything.
exactly what he
That's
said."
not his
What?
business. You should have known not to cheat.
He should've-
But going back to the
Oh my
concept, make it work for you,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
At home, instead of just saying, "Oh, just stay at home," it's kind of like know how to protect your home, right? Just teaching the concept. You can't just tell people don't do something, but you don't have like something to expand on, and that's what our society do most of the time.
Yeah.
Or culture is kind of like telling you something and you don't even understand
Yeah.
why.
Could it be that's what they meant all along?
They do mean it, but the problem is they need to do
The
a better job
application.
at
Yeah.
applying
Yeah.
Right.
and
right,
teaching
right.
it correctly.
Yeah. No, I think the intention is right. The
Yeah,
intention
it's
was
always
right,
right. It's
from the
always.
beginning. Is the application.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do the extreme because we think that this method work, and if I go hard at it, it's going to be the
Exactly.
best way.
Right.
Do you see what
Right.
I'm saying? So, but us, I think our parents sent us to school for us to be better.
Yeah.
So now what we ought to do is to take it. I love that. We take that same concept, refine it, and then whatever it is that they failed to understand back then, that we can incorporate that information in there and keep the same concept.
Right.
Because I
right.
can tell you this. I think Caribbean folks know a thing or two about proper way to raise a child.
That's
Of
true.
course. Yeah. That's true. That's facts.
I think,
No, the
and I
success
have
rate is high.
reasons.
though.
I have
the success
reasons.
rate is high. Let's just be
I
honest.
have reasons
Yeah.
to believe that
Mhm.
our parents
Did a
didn't
good
do
job.
too bad.
No, they
Right,
did good.
right.
So I am not gonna let anyone
Mm-hmm.
tell me to throw what I have
Exactly.
away completely so I can embrace yours. Send them to timeout whenever he cussed you out. Whenever he cussed you out at Target, for me
Yeah.
to just call his name 3 times and then you're gonna. No, I'm not gonna do that.
I don't even think the other people do that either.
What they?
The European people that
What do they
the
do?
concept
The-
of
Johnny?
yeah, I don't think they do
Johnny?
that. Yeah, I think Johnny gets a little
Jo-
good. Get over here.
Well, then they're getting into our culture.
Okay, because I've seen some. I've seen some folks.
Well, yeah, they're buying
Yeah.
into it. But
Yeah.
overall is that you
Overall
lying.
is that they don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Overall,
you
that's true.
just
Yeah.
talking back to you any kind
Right,
of
Yeah,
way.
that's
right.
true. They kind of run the parents.
Yeah. So I think what we ought to do is to keep the concept, the 3L, Lakay Lekòl Legliz, or whichever order you want it. I like the Lakay first because that's where you start. Then you go
Lakay,
Lekòl, and the
Lekòl
Legliz is once a
Legliz.
week or whatever it
Right.
is. So I keep it that way. So we should keep that concept, and then we should inject our thing into it to modernize it a little bit. But the core should not change
Yeah.
because I think something works.
Yeah, you know what
Something
I think
works.
is missing though? The discrepancy is coming from the fact that there's no explanation after the 3L.
Yeah.
Because what they say, like,
Exactly.
"Tunelakau," like, no, it's like they know it's a good concept,
Right.
but they're not having the conversation with you as to, like what you just said, what you can do when you're at the school, or why you need to be home, and why when you're at the church, how you can interact and things like that.
You know why?
The conversation stop when I tell you to come back.
Because there was a
home.
lack of emotional
Connection.
intelligence. And then there's also the belief or the acceptance that I tell you and you just listen. The idea
culture
of
I'm
obedience.
superior. Yep.
Yeah. I don't owe you an explanation.
Yeah, the idea of obedience is big within the circle. So you just do not question. I tell you, and you do it. So, but now we know better. When you know better, you have a responsibility to do better. Is that Maya Angelou? Is that who said that? Somebody.
Yes,
Great
I think
yes.
Isn't that interesting? To go ahead, finish.
No. So I think now our job is to, is to add this concept of communication, explaining the back and forth. This notion, I tell my boys, I want the same relationship that Jesus had with his dad, with you. I want you to be able to go back and forth with me, question me back and forth. Let's wrestle the idea. If it doesn't make sense, tell me it does not make sense. I am not offended.
Right.
That gives me the right when you're not making sense for me to tell you it's not making sense as well. No. So it's the same relationship.
I do have that with my my daughter, or my son is 4. But there are times where you have to draw
why you need to explain
with the back and forth all the time, because I think the balance comes from, and that's not even what I was gonna say. The balance comes from, sometimes I need to say one word. And there are times where we can do the back and forth and things like that.
Because that's what trust is part of the relationship.
And I think in the back and forth, so sometimes I know somebody said that, where I might not have time. Let's say you're doing something and I tell you to stop. I might not have time to explain to you why I'm telling you to stop right now.
So obedience first.
Oh, you know the difference.
Has to come first.
Now the authority side needs to be there.
It's what you say, the trust established that.
Oh, you know the face.
But here's where I was going to go with Lekòl Legliz, Lakay Lekòl Legliz. It's interesting how the same parents who reinforce the Lakay Lekòl Legliz will kick you out of this caste once you disobey or you do something that's outside of the standard.
Hypocrisy, isn't it?
Right. It's Lekòl Legliz Lakay for my whole life, right? You want to protect me, whatever. But the minute that I start having sex and you find out, or the minute that I get pregnant, or they're telling you I'm hanging out with the gangsters in the neighborhood, all of a sudden I'm not worthy
to be in the home anymore.
To be in your home, and the church also is saying that
you're not
church. Worthy.
Oh my God! If you don't leave the church alone,
everything is connected to church and psychology.
I know, right?
Yeah, because church is part of our culture. It's like there's no way around it. That's where we go.
Yeah,
we either go home and we go to church. The church kick you out, and in the school you start to have that reputation because there is no system to support you once you make that mistake.
Because the thing is, you have to understand, Haitian take success as a group, meaning that you shaming me, you shame the last name, you shame the family.
The family.
So your success is also pride for the entire family. That's the reason why when you graduated, they want everybody in their mama to come.
No, that is true.
Your wedding be 500 people.
And you can tell them they're not coming.
Yeah.
Because they really want to say, look what I have. Look at this shiny object that I have created.
Yes.
It's a sense of pride. Yeah. Now, the opposite is also true. Now, they need to be emotionally intelligent enough to understand that, there was a disappointment in this relationship, but I am going to continue to invest. But not everybody knows how to process hurt.
Yeah, and that is true.
Historically, we have not learned how to process that type of hurt when our children do those kind of things.
That's where I was going to go with the emotion. Because having growing emotional intelligence to educate about this thing is one thing. But the emotional piece is already hard for us.
It is.
Within our household. I think a lot of us in our generation, we had to learn saying that I'm not gonna be distant with people for no reason. I'm not gonna interact this way because it's not healthy. But our parents, a lot of people can testify, like my parents never hugged me. My grandmother never kissed me or hugged me, but I know they love me.
But you don't know what you don't know, right? They don't know. Some of them don't know.
Is it they don't know, or it's hard for them to do?
Both. It could be both. It could be that it is hard for them to do because of certain experiences, because of certain things that they grew up in. maybe even if they wanted to, but because it's like, well, my dad never did that, right? My
It's
mom
not a
never.
method of expression that has value to us.
Yeah, it's like I pay the
Hugging me,
bills.
hugging
I get
me.
you to school. You got food on the
Yeah,
table.
that's
Don't you have new clothes? That's literally how they express it.
but it's funny you say
Express
that.
it by
You
feeding you.
never
Figuring it out.
we saying this because now we're dual cultured, I guess.
Yeah, bicultural.
But growing up in a Haitian household, you never feel neglected on love because you never get hugged. You never feel like my self-esteem is low because mommy never told me that she loved me. You never doubt for a minute
that you're not.
That you didn't have love.
Whereas you have the opposite culture, which is European culture, where they hug you 10 times a day. You still have a self-esteem that's telling you that I feel unloved. So do you see what I'm saying, though?
Right. It's everywhere.
I don't remember a time that I felt unloved growing up as a Haitian kid. I don't remember a time my mama hugged me.
Same. Wow, that's crazy. Well, my mom.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah,
there's never a question.
That's an interesting take.
She loves.
Well, you have the opposite side,
right?
Where I'll tell you 10 times a day, I love you. Keep coming back 11 times, 12 times asking me, do you love me? And then if on 13th time I don't tell you that I love you, then you start crying. Love? And then you go tell all your friends you're suicidal. So now, that's what I'm saying. We need to be able to look at the psychology of the two culture, the two people here.
Right.
And ask yourself which one is working for me.
Right.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Now, you might say, hey, you know what? I want to incorporate a hug in this. That's fine. But don't tell me I have not been practicing good mental health just because I haven't been hugging them.
Right.
That's a way to wipe who I am so I can replace it with who you are.
Here is a problem with that. I agree with all of that.
It's not one size fit all.
No, it's not one size fit all. That's for sure. When we are raising children who are born in this culture,
you incorporate. That's what I'm saying. But I, at the same time, by the way, today is my son's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Samuel.
Happy birthday, Samuel.
I'm saying this for you. He understands. Yeah. Papa has to go take care of business. And I told him, hey, Papa is going to be out of town. Hey, yeah, you got a business to take care of. Not that he doubt that I love him because I didn't throw him a birthday party. We want to incorporate that in our the thing that we do. But if there's a time that we don't do it, you don't fall into a state of low self-esteem. Oh, my parents don't love me because they didn't bring me a gift. Right. I like the incorporation, but we must also strengthen within the core, the Caribbean core, saying that my love for you is not always going to be expressed in terms of me hugging you. I may not be able to hug you. Still remember that this guy loved me despite the fact that he did not have a chance to hug me last night. That's the core that's going to take you everywhere.
But that core should be expressed through communication, right? We need to have an understanding that this is what's happening. Yeah. Because then when you have the culture in your ears,
they won't be able to communicate what they don't understand either.
No, I'm talking about for us who are going to be picking which one we integrate in our household. Okay. We need to have a communication exactly. Like this is what's happening.
For sure.
I mean, but it's not a question, oh, I just love you. I talk about the pleasure that you bring to my heart when you do certain things and the pain you bring to me when you do certain things.
That's true. And that's why you need to know your kids. Because you see the kid, you beat them. I guess I'm going off a different path here. You beat the kid, and that doesn't do anything to them. But you look at them and tell them you're disappointed because of their behavior, and that just hit them. You could tell their guilt. You could see it in their face that they feel sad because they disappointed daddy.
Because if I love you, I don't want you to suffer.
Yeah.
If my actions are leading you to suffer, therefore I need to look within.
Right.
That's all it is. So, but I do think that Lakay Lekòl, like you said, we need to add a little extra to it to incorporate new things. But I think the core of the practice is strong.
Yeah,
it is.
I want us to go into solutions.
Yes.
But before you go there, is it ever, you talk about the kicking out, is there
is it ever a reason?
Is there ever appropriate
to kick them out?
No.
Okay, so
Even when the danger.
Violence, at the exception of violence, I think we spoke about it briefly in one of our segments.
Yeah.
If a kid is, because there was this kid on the news for killing his mother because he wanted to play a video game and the mom took the iPad away.
Well, mom is dead, so she can kick him out.
That I'm saying. No, but I'm pretty sure mom observed that behavior.
Well,
and just let it.
We don't know the whole story.
You see what I'm saying? We don't know the whole story. Proverb. But there has been instances where you can tell the path that a child is getting going down by their behavior and the constant changes that you see in their mood. I mean, obviously that child was, not, I'm gonna say labeled because we don't know as mentally ill.
Was there a mental illness?
Mental illness. Yeah, that's what we say. We don't know. I'm just saying that's what they said. But it's like, how she probably didn't pay attention to those behaviors before it got to that level,
or she ignored them,
or she ignored them.
We don't know. We don't know.
But here's the thing, though. I feel like Caribbean parents don't kick you out for those things.
They don't.
They kick you out for the things that the whole community
Society
know
about.
But is it a big practice of them kicking? They do that in America, or I don't know if it is a big practice in the Caribbean circle to just kick. It's not a big number.
It's not
a problem.
Because they want you to stay home for as long as possible. But when it comes to getting pregnant,
I would stay home if I could right now. I would still be at home.
You're a good kid. You're a good kid. But it's not predominant in our culture for us to kick our children out. Yeah. That's true. We do support them until we want them to be married and be in our house.
That's true, actually.
But it's been my observation, they don't play with pregnancies.
Yes.
They don't like pregnancies.
They don't like pregnancies.
But then if you're married and you're not pregnant by the next day, there's a problem.
Well, that's more like peer pressure.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of saying
the pregnancy outside of wedlock. So that means we should specify.
Yeah,
they don't like. It's not they don't like pregnancy. They don't like
pregnancy out of wedlock.
They'll deport you. They'll self-deport you sometimes.
They'll send you to Haiti.
They'll send you back to the country. They'll self-deport you.
They send you to the countryside.
But there's a Haitian proverb that says, "Jou fais tomber dans l'eau, c'est pas jouer al pourri." For those who say, "I'm just learning my Creole," I can teach you Creole 7 days a week, twice on Sunday, buddy.
We don't need that life.
Jou fais tomber dans l'eau, c'est pas jouer al pourri. What does that mean? The day, or you can, if you want to do an American way, the time that the milk fall on the stove is not the time that it start to boil. Meaning that they say that the day that the leaf fall in the water, it's not the same that it turn
change color.
Change color. Thank you. That means if a child all of a sudden wake up and kill mom, dad, or do something crazy or go to jail, this kid did not today all of a sudden turn into a killer.
Yeah.
There have been patterns, behavioral patterns that you made reference to, that have been dismissed, whether it's mental illness or ODD symptoms or whatever the case might be. What have you been doing since then? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't like when people make it sound like, oh, all of a sudden he just turned into a killer or whatever. No, there's been things. Okay? So I think it is very important for us to understand those patterns and be able to intervene at the proper time.
Proper time, yeah.
And I think this is a danger of Lekòl Legliz Lakay. That part is you're not getting the proper support that you need, because the support that you need is not at your church. It's not at the school that you go to. It's not home. Especially when we're talking about mental health, or we're talking about social services, like supportive services for children with disabilities and all of these things. They're not coming. It's not all the time. I mean, now they start to do that where they bring the services. They do fair. They do like fair at the church and things, so people can know.
Family night or day.
Family night, so people can know those kind of services exist for their family. But if this is where you go, those 3-point reference, when you need supportive services for your family development, for your children, for them to thrive at the school, you need to go outside of this core reference and expand and find out what else is going on outside of my community.
Exactly.
Because they're there and you're in a big country.
Yep.
So you need to go out of your core reference and find them to support you. I think it has to be if you really understand the concept of Lakay, and you really give importance to what you're saying, like Lakay is like protecting my family, making sure we are all thriving, making sure we get the support that we need, and we all gonna grow together. If you really understand that, you will go outside of what you know.
Yeah.
To bring that support for yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, the complication is you might realize that I need to do it, but because I have not been raised that way or been preparing myself for it, now I don't have the skill set necessary to go get what I need.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right,
It
right,
does.
So
right.
now that becomes
Perfect.
a bigger problem. I know I need it, but I don't have the skill set. And sometimes I am too ashamed to acquire skills that I should have acquired over the past 10 or 15 years.
Another problem.
So I'm too embarrassed. There's too much pride and all
to
this
admit
thing.
that I'm wrong
Then
and that I don't know.
Right. Then I make the conclusion, you know what? Let me just stay in my circle. Let me just stay in this little
bubble.
corner or bubble, like you said. So yes, there's no perfect system.
Right.
There isn't.
But I think the idea is in order to make a more perfect union, I think we should always think of that. What can we do to make the union more perfect? Going back to the founders of the United States. So the system that we have, we should always ask ourselves, how can we make it a more perfect system, knowing that it's not perfect?
Right.
But what we have been doing, especially those of us who have a little degree, we have been, we get rid of our system in favor of a system that is foreign to us.
Foreign to us completely.
Then we don't even know how to raise our children. They become hell because we ignore the things that we should have accepted. So we are not losing this game because we don't know how to play. That's a quote. We are not losing this game because we don't know how to play. We are losing this game because we're refusing to play to our strength.
Yeah, big one.
Does that make sense?
It does.
That makes a lot
That's
of
a
sense.
sport. That's a sport quote. He knows what I'm talking about.
Makes a lot
Definitely.
of sense. Yeah. Yeah.
We got to play to our strength.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's
That's
number
how we
one.
become
Number
stronger.
one, play to your strength. And if we were to summarize the solutions that we provide you today, expand your horizon, find out what's going on outside of your culture. Or if you're in school, go to the career services department or go talk to people, talk to your classmates, find out why they're majoring in what they're majoring, aside from what your parents told you to go learn at the school. Find out what clubs they're going to.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you at the school, even in college level, they have different clubs and stuff. A lot of friends that you meet, people that would give you a job tomorrow, people that would connect you, that'll be like, oh, this used to be my classmate. You don't necessarily meet them in the classroom. You meet them in the curricular club,
the chess club,
or
a lot of the Ivy Leagues. That's what happened.
Yeah.
You go there to meet people. Even if you drop out, but my buddy was there, and then he happens to be president of the United States.
Exactly. Those connections will go far. And don't just go home. Don't just stay home.
Right.
And I'm saying that I'm pushing to myself because I know I've had to make a goal for myself. I'm like, Patricia, you need to be out in the community a little more. Aside from when they call you to come present a workshop, or usually when they ask for me, then I go. Aside from that, if it's like me that's gonna tell you, I'm gonna
go to this event.
I'm gonna go to this event.
Patricia's
Cut me out.
Probably not gonna happen. I can relate.
But still, I'm not doing it because I want to be out there. But be intentional about it. Right? I'm doing it for a reason because I know it's important for my business and the way that I want my life to go. And that's what we leave in you guys.
Yeah, and also make it work for you.
That's right.
Because with everything that we say, I know you can come at us and be like, that's not how I do it in my house. That's how I do it. Well, no, it worked for me. We love your opinion. But if that's what's working for you, that's what's working for you.
Don't change
Keep doing it.
Yes, play to your strength.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
Like Doc said. So just find out but also to look at the results, because don't complain. When you're getting results that you don't want, you have to also assess your situation, right?
Facts have a way of being hard-headed.
Exactly. So you can say that's how they do it, but if you're complaining about the results and what's happening and you're not making changes to change the result, then you're gonna have to admit that your way is probably not the best way at this time, right? You might need to revisit that and start looking into other ways to better your system. So we'll leave you with that, and thank you again for your support always. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends, give us a 5-star review if you're listening wherever you're listening to this podcast. Thank you, and again, mind your business.
Because your wellness.
Mind your wellness.
I'm so sorry. I think I'm starting to do that on purpose. I want to trip them.
You didn't get me though.
But anyway, mind your wellness.
Because it's your business.
I like the mind your business. I don't know. Maybe you need to mind your business.
Mind your business because it's your business.